you can see here, obviously, he's at great heights these days. Back in the day, he started at 0. Hey, what's going on? It is Doug Cunnington here in Georgie. This video is going to be more of a mindset type video, and Georgie's really just being a good dog right now, so I gotta soak this up. Basically, I want to talk about being patient and just having a long-term view on what your goals are. Everyone seems to be in a very big hurry, and I mean, I can appreciate that because I was in the same spot. And believe me, I know it's easy for me to sit here and tell you to be patient and look at the long-term view. But I can tell you, and we'll look at some examples of, successful blogs out there and, big sites, huge sites now, but they all start at 0. And by the way, even if you're not doing like a website, if you have like a service business, or maybe you're running an agency or something like that, everything is gonna take longer than you think, trust me. Whatever you anticipate, double it, triple it, everything's gonna be harder, all right? Everything's gonna be harder. And sometimes you're gonna think like, hey, I'm gonna get a big break because this person is gonna retweet one of my posts, or I'm gonna be a guest on this podcast or whatever. And I can tell you that, sometimes you may see a little bit of a increase or, a bump in traffic or whatever your metric is. But most of the time, there's not like one thing that like changes all the stuff overnight. There's no overnight anything. Most things take a really long time, and most things, right, they take it's very small growth the whole way. It's very small growth. And maybe you will hit like a tipping point or a critical mass where, things sort of, grow a little bit faster, but most of the time that's after years of work. And again, we're going to look at some examples here where you can see like there was no overnight success. Quick note, the first time I heard about Brian Dean, it wasn't from Backlinko. He was writing for Neil Patel, per my investigation, writing with Neil Patel on QuickSprout. I don't know if he was paid or what the situation was, or if they're buddies or if they know each other from way back. But basically, I was reading a bunch of content over on QuickSprout, and I was like, hey, Neil didn't write this. This guy, Brian Dean, wrote it. And then a few months later, I saw Backlinko and I started hearing all about that. So just be patient. Trust me, you'll be okay. Here's the big thing. If you can take a longer term view on what you're trying to accomplish, you can make different decisions that are maybe a little bit more long-term. Maybe I want to use the word smarter, right? You can potentially make smarter decisions if you're thinking, all right, I don't need this to be the biggest thing, or I don't need to reach my goal in 3 months. What about 3 years? Like, what do I need to do to get to the point that I want to in 3 years? Yes, you can accelerate the process. You can try and do things faster, but most of the time, unless you are 100% dedicated, you have tons of resources and lots of time, you still have to figure out how to get from point A to point B. And you can get some help along the way. You can, maybe get some coaching or take courses or this or that. But in a lot of ways, even if you have all the knowledge that you need, you can't skip all the steps along the way. Things just take time. So I'll leave you with that. Please leave a comment if you found this helpful, or if you've experienced this or observed it yourself. Super interested to see the reaction to just being patient. All right, thanks a lot. And by the way, if you're brand new to the channel, this maybe is a weird video to discover it, but have a look around. I talk about affiliate marketing, mostly some SEO, keyword research, that sort of nerdy stuff. And if you like what you see in those other videos, please subscribe. We're looking at a few of my favorite blogs on Ahrefs or Ahrefs. And one thing that I didn't account for is the database for the backlinks doesn't go back super far. So I won't be able to show you all the way back in the day because it looks like we can't go beyond 2013 here. But the point is, you can see from the backlink profile of Niche Pursuits that Spencer Hawes, one of my sort of mentors from afar. I learned a lot from Spencer, and I owe the name of my blog to his niche site project initially. So thanks for that, Spencer. But you can see here, obviously, he's at great heights these days. Back in the day, he started at 0. As far as like the search traffic, he's obviously exploding and doing super well right now. His content has been just fantastic over the past couple years here, especially. Looking at another one of my big influences is Pat Flynn, Smart Passive Income. Again, he started his blog like way before we can actually see the beginning, but again, same situation. Like, he started at 0. All right, he started at 0, and maybe his podcast is a better place to look, and maybe his traffic is dwindling. He's obviously still ranking really well for a lot of stuff here, and his podcast is ginormous. He's crushing it on YouTube, but again, maybe you can't see the picture as well on this, but Backlinko, it's a little bit of a fresher blog, and it doesn't mean that Brian Dean started Backlinko without any experience. Per my understanding, he was doing SEO and affiliate marketing for years, so he kind of knew the ropes, but you could see the, not very many links, and basically growing to a kind of insane number of links. And when you look at the organic search, you can see he started small, although I would be thrilled to have the stats that he had at the very beginning here. But the point is, you can see he's been growing and growing and growing. So over time, you get better. He's crushing it on YouTube as well. And when you look at some of my stats, you can see very slow growth as well. These are the stats for my podcast here, and you could see that it's been slow growth from the beginning. I launched it in January of this year, and every now and then I'll get a little bit of a bump depending on the topic and the promotion that I'm doing. And, things are slowly growing. This actually looks pretty good to me. I've been putting out 2 episodes per week since the very beginning of the year, and I'm getting bigger and better guests all the time. I did have some charity cases, where they joined me early on. But at this point, I'm able to really, invite a lot of people that basically I didn't think I'd be able to get on ever. So when you look at Niche Site Project, I started in the November timeframe of 2013. And you can see I obviously started at 0. And I had some interesting stuff going on in the middle of 2016 there. When I was selling a site, I had a lot of sort of coverage. A lot of people were interested in Project Go White Hat. If you haven't seen that, go check that out. Google it. You can find it on the blog. And then, of course, on the YouTube side, I wish I would have gotten into it when I really wanted to at the beginning. In 2014, I was like, I want to do some YouTube videos. I've been learning so much from different folks out there. And I never really took it seriously until sort of the tail end of 2016. Now, the funny thing is, because I had been blogging since, basically 2014, I'd been blogging for a couple years. A few people were watching my videos, and I think I had a few hundred subscribers, maybe even close to 1,000. I can't remember. And then in 2016, late 2016, I was like, all right, I'm going to start doing more videos. I'm going to do some tutorials and stuff like that. I'm going to share my knowledge about the keyword golden ratio. I'm going to share it freely. I'm not going to charge anything for it. I'm just going to give it away. And then I kind of got the hang of it. And you'll notice different bumps and, ebbs and flows and all that stuff. But it's slow growth, right? It's slow growth. And I never pay attention to the aggregate stats. But when I was pulling this screenshot for you right here, I saw that I have 1 million views. So I didn't even know that, whatever. Anyway, things take a long time. And if you're in it for the long haul, then you don't have to make weird decisions based on things that maybe you don't feel comfortable with, or you're pandering, or you're maybe not confident in it. You could just kind of go at your own speed. It may take longer, but generally, if you're doing things that, even if they take a little longer, if you get there in sort of an organic way, you could think of this as maybe your favorite band or a favorite comedian or, an actor or something like that. They grind and they work at it, and it may take them a little longer, but a lot of times, if it's not a flash in the pan, they have more longevity, I guess. So anyway, just be patient out there and it'll be okay. Just, keep pushing.